All right, fantastic. So we've got a wETH and an Ether balance counter. And below this, we are going to create a button for converting Ether into wETH and a button for converting wETH into Ether. Did I say that twice? Ether into wETH, wETH into Ether. Got it the second time if I didn't the first. So let's go ahead and use, you know what, let's go ahead and do this. Have that ETH, wETH balance, a little bit something a little bit nicer, something a little bit nicer to look at. Zero balance, zero wETH balance. And you know I love grids, so let's go ahead and import a grid. And import a button component. I think we're going to want 2 grids, 2 columns in our grid. So I have that over here, and in the right one, we're going to have I guess we're going to need an input as well, and a divider. And let's just see how that looks real quick. 0 ETH balance, 0 wETH balance. Okay, we don't need the divider over there. I don't think we need a divider. But what I would like to have, ultimately, and because we always wireframe things out before we do them, I would like to have a button that says wETH to ETH with an input that's fluid. And an ETH to wETH and a wETH to ETH. Oh, jeez, that looks awful. Even though we have everything on our convert page, we're doing it all on home. Whatever. So the idea is that we're going to have one form for entering in the amount of ETH that we want to convert to wETH, and then one form for entering in the amount of wETH that we want to convert to ETH. Good God, I'm getting tired of just saying that. So let's get this all on one line, right? And let's take a look at I may even want to use a form, but let's look at what we've got available for input. Just adding some small touches. Great. I think that's going to look a little bit better, and it shouldn't take up the whole screen. It should just take up a little bit of the screen. Convert ETH. Oh, shoot, that's not what I want. Oh my god. It needs to be inverted. I mean, the input shouldn't take up this much room, right? I don't think. Oh, action. Oh, convert ETH to wETH. Ooh. Convert ETH to wETH. Enter amount. I've never done this before. This is kind of cool. Enter amount. All right, let's try this. Let's go with this. This looks very promising. Now, I do need to add in some components such as handle change. And I think I know what that's going to entail. Yes, that would be correct. Okay. So this is what the handle change function looks like. Basically, you say input has a name and a value, right? The name is, let's call this pre-ETH. How much ETH we want to convert to wETH, and let's call this pre-wETH, the capital W, and value is going to be equal to pre-ETH, and the value here is going to be equal to pre-wETH, and we need to create a pre-ETH and a pre-wETH in our local state, and more formally up here. And there should be a way to change the type of input to numbers only. This is helpful. I don't remember if it's this specific command, but or that specific tag that allows you to just say it's only a number. Yes, it is. So when you do type number, you can't actually type in letters or any alpha code. It has to be numerical. It can't be alphanumerical, right? And so that's the on change this dot handle change. So it has it for this one, right? Oh, because our handle change isn't. So the way it works is you just copy and paste this code over, which basically says that the name and the value of it taken from the component will then update to, name if it's pre-ETH and then the new value. So you're changing the value of pre-ETH to 4 if it's 5 and vice versa. And I'll show you what would happen if, like this changes, but this doesn't because it doesn't have the handle.change. And then from there, we do onClick equals this dot handle ETH, ETH handle convert ETH, handle convert wETH. And we ETH I think we need equals there, And this is what's going to happen when a user actually clicks on the button. So, you know, we could, if yeah, okay. Oops. So basically, if we're converting wETH to Ether, we want to figure out just how much the user wants. And then if we're converting Ether to wETH, then that's a totally different story. I don't think I'm going to get into the functions here. I think this is a great spot to stop. Trying to keep these bite-sized pieces, these bite-sized, you know, just really just ram right into doing this and knock it all out. I'm trying to keep things going quickly because I know that if I push myself to do it quickly, it's going to get done quickly. So I think, oh, yeah, okay. So I think from here, well, I can't say I'm a big fan of what is going on. I don't feel like it's doing anything on click. Is there an on click? We got the on change here. But what's the action? Maybe it doesn't do anything. Maybe we need to have a bona fide button on it. Anyways. Come on. Come on, what's going on, guys? This. Let's get real. Let's get real about this real quick. We're gonna add in a parameter to this. We're gonna add it in directly, yep. Because it may be the case that the function is firing, it does look like it, but it just was not properly formatted. That's not real. Well, we're going to scrap this idea, and basically we're going to be taking the action out, okay? So just like this, right? And we're going to move it to a button. We're just going to move it to a button. And you know what? We can make this fluid, and we can make the width of this column like, you know, well, I guess that one doesn't matter, but we can make this fluid and that fluid, and then we can make a button right underneath it. Fluid, inverted, colors blue because blue is pretty cool, and we can say icon name cycle convert ETH the import icon in order to do this. And then from here, I'm slouching in my chair a little bit. And from here, we go ahead and convert wETH to ETH. And then we can, in the button, we can do an on-click, right? Equals this dot handle convert ETH, and then whatever the current pre-ETH is. And we can do the same thing down here, but for pre-wETH. And I know my face is kind of in the way, but I think that should about do it. And it looks kind of cool, right? I mean, obviously this can get much better with design. And look, when I hit convert ETH to wETH, fires right away. Fires just like that. And if I convert wETH to ETH, so obviously the design of this needs to be a little bit better, but we do have our input that only is taking numbers. We do have our buttons that are firing. So from here, it is just a simple matter of a little bit of a better design and actually pinging the smart contract function to then convert Ether to Ether. I don't know yet, but I may need to approve the contract to take some, no, because Ether isn't naturally an ERC20 token, so as it's going in, I don't need to pre-approve anything. So, all right, that's it for this bite-sized piece. I'm tripping over myself a little bit trying to move through this at a decent pace, but we are progressing.